People called him Scarface. Who was Scarface, you ask? The biggest gangster Chicago ever saw. Born to a poor immigrant family from Naples, Italy, family got their start in New York City.
Oh, it's a boy!
Now Al wasn't stupid. Could have been doing whatever and still have been successful. Dropped out of school in the 6th grade and supported his family. He was a bouncer at a bar owned by gangster Frank Yale, who he would do business with for a long time. It was also at this bar where Al would get the scar he would be known for. That bar is where he met me, Giovanni Torrio, or the others, Johnny Torrio, and I would take him under my wing. My boss, Big Jim, owned several businesses in Chicago, and he needed men to help run them. So me and Al over here moved to Chicago to run some establishments. Now it's the year of 1920, and Al had recently become a father and husband, marrying his wife May Collins. But it wasn't all good news in 1920. Prohibition came along that year. People were getting thirsty. They needed something to drink. So I told Big Jim my bootlegging plans, but he declined the offer. That damn fool. I had Al orchestrate the hit on Jim. He got his old boss Frank Yale to do it in the middle of one of Jim's establishments. And when the cops came to ask witnesses what happened, they said they had amnesia. We started our own bootlegging business, and it was great. Al rose through the corporate ladder quickly. Al loved looking nice. He wore lots of yellow and green with a milky white fedora. He had a $50,000 gold pinky ring. Style got him the nickname Snorky, meaning sharply dressed, and he liked that name. But he didn't like the name Scarface. The people only knew about Al's good deeds in nature, and not about his criminal activity. And this included his family. When Al's dad died, Al decided to bring the family to Chicago, where Al could protect them. Al's brothers Frank and Ralph joined our organization, and business was booming. 1922 came around, and I devised a plan to unite local mobs, so we could all get a cut of the profits. While I spread the word of peace, Al had other plans. If a saloon wouldn't sell our beer, he gave them a warning, and if you still didn't listen, he'd bomb the place. But we aren't without any mercy. We'd loan you money for repairs, if you sold our beer, that is. Al only ever did things with cash. In our line of business, we can't leave a money trail. So no debit cards, no credit cards, nothing. Our organization was rapidly expanding, and we needed protection. So I had Al bribe cops and politicians. We had about 50% of the Chicago police force on our side. Al had proven himself. He rose through the ranks to become my right-hand man. Now 1923, and all was great until some of the other gangs disobeyed the peace treaty and plunged the underworld into the beer wars. With the peace treaty broken, Capone was free to eliminate our rivals one by one. I went on vacation and left Al in charge, and Al had big plans to expand into the suburbs to gain more control of Chicago. To gain protection in the suburbs, Al had to rig the elections for Capone's supporter to win. And we won, with some help of course. All his success came at a cost.
I don't think I'll make it back for dinner.
Al's brother Frank was killed in a police shootout. This experience changed Al. He became a lot more aggressive and violent than he already was. At least business was booming. We had 116 gambling joints, 123 saloons in one neighborhood alone.
Got one this time, boys.
Al did run into some trouble, though. Reporter Robert St. John exposed some politicians under our payroll. So we taught him a lesson.
Get him, boys! Yeah, spit on him! Get him up! Walked up! Chris. Not again. I'm ready to pay for my bill.
Sir, someone already paid for your bill.
What?
Yeah, some guy with a big scar on the left side of his cheek.
Al had made many enemies, but he also had allies. Al helped local mobsters win their gang wars, and with the network expansion and joining forces, we doubled our size. I had been away from town for 4 months, and when I came back, I knew Al should be my successor. Al was sent to jail for killing someone, but charges were dropped because no one in the jury would show up. And this became a regular occurrence whenever Big Al killed his enemies. Northside gang leader Dean O'Bannon was growing in power and became our rival. O'Bannon swindled us in a brewery deal, and I got arrested and jailed, but not before getting revenge. O'Bannon was ironically buying flowers for a funeral when Frank Yale and 2 of our other guys got him. While I was in prison, I decided it was time for change, so I announced my retirement and let 26-year-old Al take over.
Boss.
So you want to be a player, but your wheels ain't flying. You gotta hit us up to get a picked out ride.
Gang violence became more and more vicious, so Al needed some more protection. Al rode around in a $20,000 customized Cadillac limo. It weighed 7 tons, it was armor plated, and had bulletproof glass.
You gotta hit us up to get a pimped out ride. Damn right.
It was 1925 and the Tommy gun made its debut in Chicago gang life. Al used it to slaughter his enemies. People were outraged by the murders, and Al was sent to court, but this time with a jury. But Al still wasn't found guilty, and this made the people of Chicago think he was untouchable. 1927 was a good year. In October, Al negotiated peace with the other gangs. The newly elected mayor was on Capone's side, and we made $105 million that year. The problems from inside the gang arose. Capone's buddy Frank Yale was stealing some of Al's booze shipments, so Al had him taken care of. Over in Florida, a rival gang was stealing Capone's booze. So Capone went to Florida to deal with the problem, and he did. February 14, 1929 would forever be known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. After the massacre, Al became a target for many of the gangs. He had a $50,000 bounty on his head. It wasn't just rival gangs after Capone. The government joined in. Al's brother Ralph and the other high-ranking members got sent to jail on tax evasion. On March 30th, 1930, he became a public enemy number 1. But he wanted to be seen as a good guy, so he opened up a soup kitchen. It was hard for Capone to be caught by the government because legally he owned nothing. And Capone didn't keep ledgers, but his bookkeepers did. And the IRS discovered these ledgers and tracked the bookkeepers and then to Al. It took 5 years to gather all the evidence, and on June 5th, 1931, he was caught on 22 accounts of income tax evasion. Sentenced 11 years. He was moved from jail to prison, and in 1939 to Alcatraz. But he wouldn't last long there. In 1938, he was diagnosed with syphilis, probably from all the times he cheated on his wife. And the disease at the time ate away at his body. And on June 25th, 1947, he died of cardiac arrest. He was buried in Chicago, where his legend still lives on.
Stop laughing!
Hey, you made the note perfect, dude.
No, you did!
No. Let's go on this time, boys.
Gotta have that as a sound effect.
Damn.
Wait, I need to take this shit off.
Damn.
Dude.
Grab it. Have the camera.
Oh! I didn't hear the ding though.
Oh, I already did. Okay, redo.
Action.
Yo, we gotta get closer. Yo, come closer. Do it again, yo. Hey, Jeffrey.
I kinda can't. It's on the right.